Hello everyone and welcome to another December Daily 2023 video. Today I am so very excited to be with you to share with you one of the things that I really wanted to do for December Daily this year, and that was doing paintings on acetate. So I've started here with a paint pen. I got a pack of generic ones from Amazon to test it out, and I'm just layering it with some white paint. This is some gesso that I'm using and just having a play. Now the whole purpose of doing this is just to have some fun, and I can assure you that it was very therapeutic. I had no idea of what it would look like in the end, and so I really enjoyed just playing around with my supplies, my stencils, some paint pens, and some of the paints from Ali Edwards this year. So this came out really well, and I put that aside to dry, and then I have these circles here that from paintings that I did when I was first preparing for December Daily, and I had just a whole number of different paintings. Some I did with my son, and we used some acrylic ornaments, and we painted teachers' gifts for this year. Some were just painting in my craft room, but I punched out circles from these paintings, and I am using these to tell the story of my son and I painting and creating teachers' gifts this year, which is the first time that we're able to do that. So I was really excited about that. I decided that because the ornaments were circular, that I wanted to use these circles as a base for the story, and I am just layering these out. I am ensuring that there's a good mix of different prints and paintings. I ensure that I use Christmassy colors so that it will be festive. And yeah, I laid these down 4x4 is how many fit on the page. These are 2-inch circles. I do have a reel where I show these paintings from the fold that I've cut them out from, and once I have them down with some tacky glue, I go ahead and I use my sewing machine to stitch across the page. So now I'm going to use some of the paints that Ali Edwards offered this year, and I'm going to just do some loose wonky stripes across the acetate. I wanted to use gold and white just to keep things simple, but of course you can use any color that you like. I think a red, green, white and gold would be really cute too, and everything in between. So I like just doing these loosely. Initially I thought that it would kind of be a beach type spread, like resembling the sand and the waves, and then I would use that woody beach stencil from the travel collection earlier this year and put texture paste and put that on top of this, but I ended up going in a different direction because I really liked the stripes that I made, and I just wanted to use those little starry stars, fluttered stars that you'd see me using soon over it in some gold glitter. So I might just use that as a background for one of my layouts for December daily. I think it'll be really great just to layer some photos and journaling over it, but we'll see how I end up using it in the end during the month of December. For now, I'm just pretty pleased with how it turned out, and I feel like there is the opportunity to use it for anything I'd like. So just placing this small stencil here, I used it 4 times to cover the entire thing. I love these glitter pastes. I have quite a few now and I love using them, especially for December daily. I can link those below for you because I usually get a lot of questions around which paste I'm using and whatnot. And the stencil of course is from the December daily collection this year. So having that in place, I just use a scraper and I just make sure that there's full coverage, and then I continue doing this for the next 4 pieces, and then I leave it as is to dry. So for this one, I just flipped to the acetate and I'm just going to doodle some red and green circles on the back of it here. It's quite light. You can do varying thicknesses, or you can use a bit more paint if you want it to be a bit more opaque, but I quite like the translucent effect of it, and so I continue adding red and then green, and later I go over it with a gold stencil to add in some elements here. I'm kind of like a holiday bokeh effect, if you will. But I'm just gonna continue filling in these spaces with the different festive colors, and until I am satisfied with how it looks. I feel like you can add anything, layering it, and that's what I love about the painting on acetate. It adds a bit more depth. You can work with both sides, you can see both sides, and then looking at the exact same thing from both sides of the paper looks different. And so that was quite interesting. So I leave that to dry, and then I'm adding some black paint here. Now I wanted to do some black, white, gray type abstract piece for my December Daily album. I realized that I don't usually use a lot of black for December Daily, and so I wanted to challenge myself to do that. I'm creating a kind of abstract grid-ish pattern, and I like how it came out in the end. I feel like I probably could have done more of these kind of grid type things with the white, but when it dries and it flips over, you can see the black grid quite well, and so I like how it came out in the end. Of course, you could just continue playing if you like, if that's the kind of mood you're in, but I just layer some of the white paint over it, and I just smush these in, and I play a bit until I am satisfied with how it looks, and then I leave that to dry as well. So I'm using some of these textured combs, if you will, that I have, or scrapers, to just add and smush it in there, and then once that's fully covered, I leave that to dry before flipping it over and adding in some texture paste. So then for this one, I thought that this stencil might be nice since it's circles, so I just did some Lunar paste and put that on top there, and left that to dry. I decided to just have this in place a bit more because didn't want it to slip around too much. I'm not quite sure if I really like how it came out, but when I layered over and flipped over, I liked it. So this is this piece here, which I continue layering, and I probably would layer a bit more over it, and then add some vellum journaling behind, and a photo, and some smaller tags at the front of it, and just pop that in my album as is. So this Lunar paste is actually really nice to work with because it's soft and easy to apply. Sometimes I like thicker pastes for different things, but I definitely love this consistency for layering over other, things that you've done if you're working on a few layers of mixed media pieces. So just pulling that up, it is a bright gold, and then looking at these, I love how this turned out. And then this is this one with the red, green, yellow. It looks different on the other side, and I think it's just really fun. So now I'm going to work on a few more pieces. I'm gonna flip this over. I feel like it's dry, but then I decided I wanted to just try adding a few more things. So I place it to the side, and I'm working on this piece where I pulled out a lot of my Nuvo Drops, Color Pops, these things that I have that allow me to apply paint to the surface with these little dots. Now, I have a lot of these, and I barely use them throughout the year, so I feel like this is a really great opportunity to use things in my stash that I haven't used a lot of. This is probably what I would call a stash busting type project. I wanted to have all these little dots in these festive colors, and then just smush them all together. and it is so fun. Like, it reminds me of like the melted crayon paintings from our childhood or just something like that, and so all the colors together are perfect. I had a few goes with this just to experiment with some different effects. So this is the first time I'm doing it here. I smush it together with some acetate to have like a back and front vision of this. And then I kind of just left it overnight, but of course it didn't dry because it was plastic and plastic, or non-porous and non-porous. And yeah, so when I was layering a stencil over it, and as it didn't dry, I kind of separated them so they could dry. And you'll see later on how it looks, but that wasn't really my initial intention. And I do like how it came out in the end because I was able to layer it with another dot painting, which was my second go at it. And I love I smushed it with cardstock the second time around. So now I have this really pretty white cardstock with all these bright colors, and it's so festive and so fun, and I can't wait to use it for something else. And then I realized that the acetate with the dots look really great behind this initial one, and I think that's how I'm going to use it. But for now, I'm just smushing this together. Look at it, it's just so pretty, and it makes me so happy to see it come together. And I feel like I want to do another one of this. I would not smush it the second time around. I'll really just press it until I get what I want, and then lift it off. I'd also leave this acetate to the full A4 length and not 7 by 8.25. And I'll rest it in the middle so that I could pull from both sides. So you see what it looks like here. So I feel like if I removed it right away, I would have been able to preserve that, but it actually pulls away. So it is fun. It is fun, and I probably could have just left it like that to dry for both of them. So that's what happened here. And I just place it back on because I like how it looks smushed. But yeah, by the time I went back in the next morning, it didn't dry. So I did have to separate them in the end to dry, and I intended to just layer them one on top each other, the two dry bits. But yeah, I played a bit with this, and I'm really happy that I did, because I like, you know, what happened in the end after a few goes. So I feel like this is a technique that is really fun, and a technique that you could play with. I wanted to add some glitter to the top just to, you know, add some more festive fun to it. And then I wanted to use the hair for the chair, the season stencil. I felt like that would be perfect in the middle of this all, and it'll be a great yeah, filler page, divider, whatever you want to use it for in your album. But my texture page is really thick because it's I have had it since probably 2020, I would say, and it's lasted really well. Lots of projects in, and now it's a bit too thick to use, and it is to the end. So trying here to use some of these stars, but I feel like it's because I still wanted to see the back design that I probably should have used these smaller flutter stars for it. But yeah, I still left this here so you can see me playing with it. I do love how it looks, and I'm gonna use this star stencil again for something else. You know, looking at it on the video, I do like it, but then I just smush it because I wasn't sure at the time if I did. And now seeing it here on the video, like, I feel like I could have left it, but I'm glazing it with this gold, and then kind of just trying to preserve the back bits too, which I like. And as I clean it up, I kind of just like how the gold is bunching together at different parts of it. And I just leave a little gold, some gold flecks there. But seeing it now, I feel like I could have left this star. So I may go back in and add that in. But for now, this is what it looks like. I add some kind of circle clusters with this other gold shimmer just to add some interest to it. And I I'm gonna add the white texture paste now. And this is where I fully realized that it wasn't dry in between, because I was pressing down for the texture paste. The texture paste was very thick, and so as I pushed down on it trying to get it to spread, I realized that the paint behind was just really smushing in and mixing together, and it began to look a bit messy. So that's when I fully realized what was happening, and a bit disappointed, but I am gonna go back and do this again, because it was so much fun. It's so quick to make, it's very therapeutic, and I feel like I deserve to give it one more go. So I ordered some more of that texture paste, and I'm hoping that it will come within the next few days, and I can try this again with the various smushing, the right amount of smushing. So this here, just putting it into the stencil. When I raised it, I found it was a bit, I don't know, I just thought it was a bit chunky. It wasn't a smooth finish because it was so thick to smush in. So note to self, I should have bought some texture paste over the weekend, but I feel like I just had just enough more to keep playing with. But of course, this texture paste, I think, is dead, unless you have any tips for thinning texture paste. But this is how it came out. And then I tried this here with a thinner piece and just sliding it down, which also was quite fun to do. And I added in some bits of glitter gel and some lines of gold paint in there, and so you could use this for anything, journal cards, dividers. And then I just passed this on another piece of acetate that I have. So I pass this on and I just smush it onto this side, and I feel like it just makes a really lovely edge. And I just do that a few more times because it came out really lovely. I like it. So these are just elements that you could create to add some interest. I am trying this smush again, but because it isn't acetate, I can't see how much I've smushed. But then I spill it over, and I just like how those dots look. They're so cute, so fun. And I feel like that's enough smushing for this one. So this is how it turned out in the end. And so here is how all the pieces turned out. I hope you've enjoyed this video with painting on acetate for your December daily album. Have a great time, have a wonderful weekend, and see you soon. Bye.